Welcome everybody to Scott Cooks, and I'm not going to try to do a French accent because I can't, because I'm from Virginia originally, but we are making a French dish tonight, and we're going to use our good old Ninja Foodie with the smart lid, and it is a beef bourguignon, you know what it is. It's a beef stew that is cooked in red wine. Lots of vegetables. And I got a beautiful piece of meat for this, not your standard beef stew kind of stuff. Let me show you. That is a fresh butchered beef roast, chuck roast. Not from Walmart. Actually went to a butcher for this one. Fresh cut, never frozen, and I can't wait for this. We're going to cut this down into cubes. We're going to get it marinating in some salt and pepper and flour, while we go ahead and cut up about 8 million vegetables. The wine using tonight, you can use anything you want. This Pinot Noir is a good one. This is a cheap wine, got a screw cap on it. Cheap wine, but really good for cooking. Not really, I don't think it's that great for drinking. Maybe you do, but it's really good for cooking. I use it for cooking all the time. Anyway, let's start dicing this up. So we're going to cut this into bite-sized chunks, figuring out where the bone is right here. I got no other bone that I can feel. I'm going to go with the cross cut here against the grain. We'll come back to that, dice it up in a second. I'm going to have to get off the cross cut for a second here because of the bone. We'll come back, like I said, and work on that a little more. We're just kind of working my way down to the bone. And so far, I don't really see any fat that I care to trim off. Well, as soon as I say that, look what I get. So we will do a slight trim here. Butcher does a pretty darn good job of it for me. Okay, so I got a bone running right there, so I need to be a little more careful. Don't want to dull the old Cutco knife. I'm going to have to trim that out in a different way. Yeah, I got bone running everywhere through there. So we'll trim that out with a smaller knife, and just wanted to show you the size of the pieces we're going to cut here. Approximately 1 inch by 1 inch, and these can just go into a bowl. Make sure you have a bowl handy for this operation. Just throw your pieces right into the bowl, and I'm going to go ahead and work on that, and then I'll show you how we're going to marinate it. Once you got your meat all cubed up, hit it with some salt and pepper, or this would be better, but if you don't have this, salt and pepper will do it. Pretty good. Now what we want to do is coat all of this meat with flour, regular old all-purpose flour. We're just going to coat it and do like the French do. This is how they do it. Now the French is probably going to be using a Dutch oven to cook this beef stew in. We will be using the Ninja Foodie. Not quite a Dutch oven, but it will give us the same results. All right, once you got your meat completely coated with flour, just set this aside, set it in the fridge, set it on the counter, cover it up. This needs to sit about a half an hour. It needs to absorb that flour. This dish is carrot and onion heavy. Remember, this dish was made in the old time France, probably over top of an open fire in an old Dutch oven. By peasants, and this is what they had. They had vegetables, and they had some kind of a meat. Probably didn't have beef, but they had some kind of meat and a lot of vegetables, and that's what they did. This was a beef stew, or a stew. So anyway, that is about 2 pounds of carrots. We are going to trim them up, get them cut up, and place them over in a bowl for another step. You can peel them if you want. I don't usually peel mine. I did give them a little quick rinse off. I kind of like, especially when I'm doing the long, slow cook, the skins on here, they just dissolve anyway. It doesn't really make much difference. So I just usually trim the ends and anything bad on the other ends. Just get them all ready here. Let's cut some carrots, about a 1/2 inch pieces, and we're going to do it like the French would do it. We're going to cut them diagonally like so. Next step, getting ready to cook. Need 5 slices of thick bacon. Yeah, it's already just got 10 times better because I said the word bacon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 slices. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I might have 6 here, but I got what I got. 5 or 6 slices of thick bacon. Takes your scissors and cut them into small pieces. Right into the Ninja Foodie pot. That's right, we're going to cook the bacon right in the pot. Nice and crispy. Alright, go ahead and break that up a little bit, but as soon as it starts cooking, it'll kind of break itself up. Here we are at the Ninja Foodie. Lid up, pot in, power on, leave your lid up. We'll be doing sear saute, which is default, as long as your slider is in the right position. H5 is way too hot. Let's go to H4, power up, and we are going to cook it until it is good and crispy. All right, we're sizzling now. Wooden or nylon in the Foodie, guys. Very thin coat here on the metal pan. And we are starting to look pretty crispy here. We'll be pulling those in just a minute. Ah, the smell of frying bacon. Oh my gosh. Love it. It's pretty crispy. Let's get it out. Right onto the paper. If you got a couple little chunks in there left over, don't worry about that too much. Just get all you can get. And grab that beef that's been soaking in the flour and go ahead and dump it in. We're going to brown this beef on all sides and get it back out again. And I know this is a lot of extra work, but it's going to be unbelievable. Remember those 2 tablespoons of butter? In the pot they go. Let's get them melted down. Can you imagine the flavors that are going on in here now? Beef, bacon, and now butter. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. And by the way, this is real sweet cream unsalted butter. I wouldn't use anything else. Margarine is Not going to do it, guys. Margarine, read the label. Margarine is not butter. Margarine is oil. And does not have the flavor, and it doesn't have the cooking power that we need for this. All right, you guys remember all those carrots and onions we cut up earlier? Well, here they go in the pot. All right, we're just going to soften these. Just soften them. So this is going to need a little bit of cook time, because so basically when our onions are getting translucent, we're kind of getting where we want to be. So I'm going to show you a little ninja foodie trick. We are on sear saute 4. I'm going to move it to 3. And close the lid. That's right, you can close the lid on sear saute mode on your foodie. Now, why did I close the lid? Well, pretty simple. I'm retaining the heat that's in there. It's going to make it cook twice as fast. So we will need to check it occasionally. Give it a good stir. Get it off the bottom. And the smell is just unbelievable. I mean, truly unbelievable with all these smells mixed together. And now with the onion. Monitor your progress. I always start it down at 3 so I don't accidentally burn. I've just switched it back to 4. That was after about 6 minutes or so. My carrots are already getting slightly soft on the ones on the bottom. I did change it to high 4, like I said, so I will now have to keep a closer eye on it, but we still want to lower that lid. Alrighty, everything is softening up nicely here. I'm going to leave it on H4 for a minute. Now you're going to need a tablespoon of garlic. I got mine already minced up. I'm just going to guess. It's probably a little... I'm going to go a little extra garlic there. I love my garlic. And we're going to go about 1 more minute with the garlic in. And let's get that combined. And then we're going to move on to the next step. And don't worry, I'm going to go ahead and put all of the ingredient list in the description for you, because I know this is a lot. Once your minute has passed, which is about past, we're going to go ahead and put this entire bottle of wine in the pot. That's right. The whole thing. If you want to pour a little in a glass for yourself for, you know, tasting purposes or testing, go ahead. But I'm going to dump the whole thing. Things are about to get serious now. We're going French here. Although this is a California wine. Look at that dark red color. Isn't that beautiful? That's what the the French word means, Burgundy. Burgundy. So we're making beef Burgundy. We're going to need 15 ounces of your favorite beef broth. I've got a 32-ounce box. I'm going to guesstimate about half of this, if I can. It's about half. Now you're going to need a tablespoon of tomato paste. I usually add a little extra of everything because, well, I like these flavors. Get off of there, tomato paste. Okay. And I bought fresh thyme. So we're going to add some thyme in here. Around 6 sprigs if you're using the fresh. This is a 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'll get a few more. And I'm just going to peel these off in a downward position. Just kind of pull backwards on the stick, on the stem, and they'll come right off for you. There is something about fresh herbs, guys, that makes one heck of a difference versus, for say, you were trying to do this with a freeze-dried shaker of thyme. You're not going to get this flavor at all. But if that's all you got, then that's all you got. Next up, we're going to throw 2 decent-sized bay leaves in the pot. One of my all-time favorite things to cook with. I love the smell of these bay leaves. I put them in my regular old pot roast all the time. Careful not to eat them, though. They could harm you. So make sure you get them out. That's usually the very first thing I do. I remember how many I put in, and that's the first thing I get out. Let's bring this up to a simmer. It's already on H4, so she'll be at a simmer in a minute. Stir very gently so we don't break the bay leaves. So just gently. And this is also now pulling all that goodness off the bottom. So I'm pressing down on the bottom, just kind of scraping it off. If you want to do this quickly, there's an easy way. close the lid. Alrighty, we are just starting to hit that simmer. So go ahead and take your baby Bella mushrooms and put them in. 16 to 32 ounces of Bellas. I'm not too worried about these being in large slices because I know what it's going to look like 6 to 8 hours from now. And we'll get that simmer back, and then we'll go ahead and add in our beef. All right, it is beef and bacon time. Give everything a good stir. Go to the bottom and roll. The only thing you need to look out for, if one of the bay leaves came to the top, to shove it back down in there. I don't see any. So you want those completely submerged. Other than that, anything goes. All right, once you got everything in there, go ahead and stop the sear saute. Just push the stop button. It'll come back to the default mode. Scroll down to slow cook right there. I'm going to put it on low, 6 hours, start. We're not going to go the full 6 hours on it. In fact, we're going to switch it to high about 2 hours from the time that we want to eat it. So if I want to eat at 6:30, I'll come in here and flip it on high on 4:30. I do have the lid down, and that's all we need to do. I may come and stir it in a few hours, but it's not 100% necessary. For the last 2 hours, I was on high mode of slow cook instead of low mode for the last 2 hours. And for the last 15 minutes of the cook, I'm 6 minutes in, we're back to sear saute H4. What we're doing is just, and the lid is up, of course, what we're doing here is just evaporating the liquid, making this a little thicker of a stew. And we'll be pulling this out in just a few minutes. And we're going to go put some bread on our speedy tray, and we're going to toast up some bread in there. All right, this is our Ninja Speedy tray. I'm going to put a few pieces of this crusty French bread on there, put a little butter on them, and hit them with the air fryer in the Ninja Speedy. That ought to do it. I'm not a fan of the margarine, so once again, I am using real butter here. It just looks, it's a spreadable real butter instead of a stick, but it just cooks better, it tastes better. And I don't know, is butter better for you than margarine? Margarine is just oil. I mean, it's just oil. I mean, you're just eating congealed oil. I'm not a big fan. All right, the pot is out. We're going to let this rest and cool for about 15 minutes. Then we'll hit that bread in the Speedy real quick, and it's time to eat. Here's our Ninja Foodie Beef Bourguignon. Beef in Burgundy, basically. Look at these giant chunks of beef made from that chuck roast. Huge baby Bella mushrooms and big thick carrots. And I toasted up some bread over in the Speedy. Let's give this a taste. Okay, here we go. Start with a big piece of that beef. Can't wait. Onions. Very hot. That is good. The wine is coming through, but not overpowering. That beef is just melted. I barely needed to chew that. Here goes a carrot. Let's see how tender that got. Perfect. Not mushy, but not hard as a rock either. My little bread in the Speedy. Just try it anyway. That's it. That's it. Thanks for watching. This is another excellent meal. Now this one took a lot of preparation, a lot of time, and a lot of time to cook. But I'm going to tell you what, it was worth it. And this is one of them things you can kind of get ahead of it the day before a little bit, knock it out in the morning, put it in the slow cooker and go on to work, go to the store or whatever. And then you just need to remember to crank it up an hour or two before you're ready to eat. Thanks for watching. I will see you soon on the next video. Don't forget, hit that bell for notifications, subscribe to the channel, leave me some comments. Let me know if you ever tried this before. If you haven't, you should. You'd love it.
Inside lane, missing exits, glued to the pavement between the